There's a specific kind of stuck that doesn't always feel dramatic. It's more like an annoying hum. It's not a breakdown, and it's just constant noise. You keep coming back to the same question about your business, and every time you think you've gotten somewhere, you end up right back at the beginning. And here's what I want to say about that. It's usually not the answer that's missing, it's the question. Most of us have been taught to think in very broad terms about our businesses, and we bring that broadness into sessions where precision is actually what opens things up. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what kinds of questions work inside an Akashic Records business session, what tends to shut the guidance down, and what real working examples actually look like. If you've been wondering whether a session is for you or how to prepare for one, this episode is going to give you something concrete to work with. Welcome back. I'm Stephanie Barron-Sexton, intuitive income strategist and host of Manifest Magic podcast. This is episode 6, and we're in the middle of an Akashic Records content series. If you haven't listened to episode 5 yet, I'd start there. That one's called What to Expect in an Akashic Records session, and it gives you the full first-timer picture. Today, we're going a level deeper. We're talking about questions, specifically how to form a business question that the records can work with well, because there's a real craft to this, and it makes a significant difference in what you walk away with. I want to start by sharing what makes the Akashic Records different, because that distinction is what makes the question structure matter. When I'm in someone's records and answers start coming through, I hear, see, feel, or sense the guidance. It comes through the clair senses. And what I always want people to understand is that the answers are specific. The guidance that comes through for you couldn't be for anyone else. Tarot answers in general paragraphs, where the Akashic Records answer in phrases or sentences. The guidance is shorter and it's more precise. And information frequently comes through that the client didn't share with me ahead of time, things I couldn't possibly have known. That's the part that tends to surprise people in the best way. So what that means for your question? Vague questions invite vague responses. The records aren't limited by what you bring in, but they do respond to the form of your question. The more specific your frame, the more specific your answer will be. Let me give you both ends of the spectrum, starting with too broad for business sessions. These are the questions I hear most often from people preparing for a first session, and they come from a genuine place. People want to understand their purpose, their direction, and whether they're on the right path. That desire is real, and those questions are certainly valid. The question format may not give you the exact information you need for your work, though. So, too broad for a business session, too broad for the entire business session, sounds like, what's my life purpose? What should I do with my business? Am I on the right path? These questions are big. They're asking for a lot of information when what you really need is a sentence you can act on. Since you can bring up to 3 questions into your session, you could absolutely use these broader questions as one of your 3 questions, and I'd recommend making the other 2 more specific. So on the other end, questions that are yes or no tend to limit what the records can give you. Not because they can't answer, of course they can, but because you leave with a verdict instead of your own decision and a direction. Too narrow sounds like, should I launch my course in June? Is this client a good fit? Is my price right? These questions ask for a decision to be made for you. And while the records will respond, you often walk away with less information when what would actually serve your business is the context for that information, the nuance of why, the sequence of what, and the pattern underneath the choice. So we're looking for the middle ground, open enough to receive something unexpected, specific enough that the records have an edge to work from. Here's how I think about it. You're not asking the records to make a decision for you, but instead you're asking for the perspective or direction that helps you make that decision clearly. That shift in framing changes everything about how you hold the question going in. The questions that tend to work follow a pattern, open-ended structure, how, what, where, or which. A specific element of your business named, an offer, an audience, or a pivot you're weighing, and enough room for the answer to be something you didn't already think of. Let me give you some real examples. How can I better receive more business income? This question is specific about the outcome and totally open about the path. It could surface something about your offer structure, your relationship to receiving wealth, your visibility, pricing. Wherever the records go, something useful is waiting because you've asked specifically. Another example is, what's the best direction for me to go from here in my work? This one acknowledges where you are and asks for direction rather than the destination. The phrase "from here" matters. It grounds the question in current reality without forcing an answer about where you'll end up that's maybe too specific to help you get there. Another example, how can I better serve my clients in a way that also sustains me? I love this question because it holds the real tension that most intuitive entrepreneurs are navigating, wanting to give fully without depleting. The records work well with relational and pattern-based questions. They're not just answering a business problem, they're answering the energetic dynamic underneath it. What's blocking my income consistency right now, and what would shift it? This is a two-part question, and the second part is what makes it move for you. Naming the block alone can feel heavy and then stop there. Adding what would shift it opens the door. The records give you the diagnosis and the direction in the same answer. And finally, which audience, option A or option B, is the clearest direction for my focus right now? When you're at a real pivot with two named options, this kind of question gives the record something concrete to respond to. I had a client bring a version of this question, and she received the specific answer on her pivot, whether she was serving this population or that one or both. And she was able to quickly build her offers from the clarity she received. That's what precision in a question makes possible for you. I do want to call something out before we wrap up. You don't need to believe in the Akashic Records for a session to work. I'd ask a skeptic, have you ever thought of someone and then that person called? There's a version of this kind of knowing that most of us have experienced. The session gives that a structure and direction. You also don't need to arrive with your question perfectly formed. We can sharpen it together at the start of the call. What matters is that you have a real situation, something your business is actually navigating, and enough of a handle on it to describe it out loud. At the end of a session, people are so much calmer than when they came in. They feel clear, they know what their practical next step is, and they're often surprised at how specific the guidance was. That specificity starts with your question. but it doesn't require you to get there alone. I guide you through your questions and through the entire session. All right. If this episode was useful, I'd love for you to share it with someone who's been curious about the records but didn't know what to expect. And if you want support getting your questions shaped before you book, the no-cost Akashic Business Reset is a guide that walks you through exactly that. It helps you find the real question underneath the surface one, so you walk into your session with something the records can work with well. You can grab the reset at manifestmagicstudio.com/Akashic-business-reset. I'll put the link in the description. If you're looking for a steady, grounded community while you're figuring out your business structure, the Intuitive Business Collective is my free school community for intuitive coaches and energy healers. It's at manifestmagicstudio.com/school, SKOOL, and that's also in the description. I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.